wondrous
today?
land of New York. The next stop, detecting zone.
Sounds good. Oh,
You unlock this
the
door
time
with a
on
key
this is
known as
completely
a
wrong.
detector. Beyond
Should
it
say
is
7:15.
another dimension. Dimension of sound.
Changing.
Light, dimension of mind. You're moving into the land of both shadow and objects, of both things and idea. You've just crossed into the detecting zone. There is a dimension beyond that which is known to man. It is as vast as the beach where things are lost into infinity. It is the ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition. It lies between the bottom of a man's soul and the depth of his sensitivity.
Yeah,
This is
you got the link, right?
dimension of anticipation, a dimension we call the detecting zone. I'm
Yeah.
about to uncover
Hey.
another dimension. A
Hey,
dimension not only
Meryl.
of
We're gonna be
sight,
starting in about 5
and
minutes,
sound,
so
but of depth. A journey into the wondrous land of New York. The next stop, detecting zone. You unlock this door with a key known as a detector. Beyond it is another dimension. Dimension of sound. Light, dimension of mind. You're moving into the land of both shadow and objects, of both things and idea. You've just crossed into the detecting zone. There is a dimension beyond that which is known to man. It is as vast as the beach where things are lost into infinity. It is the ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the bottom of a man's soul and the depth of his sensitivity. This is the dimension of anticipation, a dimension we call the detecting zone. I'm about to uncover another dimension, a dimension not only of sight and sound, but of depth. A journey into the wondrous land of New York. The next stop, detecting zone. You unlock this door with a key known as a detector. Beyond it is another dimension. Dimension of sound. Light, dimension of mind. You're moving into the land of both shadow and objects, of both things and idea. You've just crossed into the detecting zone. There is a dimension beyond that which is known to man. It is as vast as the beach where things are lost into infinity. It is the ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the bottom of a man's soul and the depth of his sensitivity. This is the dimension of anticipation, a dimension we call the detecting zone. I'm about to uncover another dimension, a dimension not only of sight and sound, but of depth. A journey into the wondrous land of New York. The next stop, detecting zone. You unlock this door with a key known as a detector. Beyond it is another dimension. Dimension of sound. Light, dimension of mind. You're moving into the land of both shadow and objects, of both things and idea. You've just crossed into the detecting zone. There is a dimension beyond that which is known to man. It is as vast as the beach where things are lost into infinity. It is the ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the bottom of a man's soul and the depth of his sensitivity. This is the dimension of anticipation, a dimension we call the detecting zone. I'm about to uncover another dimension, a dimension not only of sight and sound, but of depth. A journey into the wondrous land of New York. The next stop, detecting zone. You unlock this door with a key known as a detector. Beyond it is another dimension. Dimension of sound. Light, dimension of mind. You're moving into the land of both shadow and objects, of both things and idea. You've just crossed into the detecting zone. There is a dimension beyond that which is known to man. It is as vast as the beach where things are lost into infinity. It is the ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the bottom of a man's soul and the depth of his sensitivity. This is the dimension of anticipation, a dimension we call the detecting zone. I'm about to uncover another dimension, a dimension not only of sight and sound, but of depth. A journey into the wondrous land of New York. The next stop, detecting zone. You unlock this door with a key known as a detector. Beyond it is another dimension. Dimension of sound. Light? Dimension of mind. You're moving into the land of both shadow and objects, of both things and idea. You've just crossed into...
Yes. So I was in my house. Not gonna lie, but I was scared for a while. And then one night we decided to go to a beach with Merrill and stay far away, and that's when we started. So I did that in a few parks since this started in the beginning of March. Staten Island. Yep.
Can you hear Lou? Now you can hear me. Can you hear Lou? I had purposely turned my mic off during the intro because while the thing was rolling, I could hear myself, and I forgot to put it back on when I came live. So that was funny. Lou, say something. You guys in the chat, let us know if you can hear him.
Hello out there in New York City. It's Wednesday night.
Live. No, I'm joking. So you can't hear Jonathan. Well, you should be able to hear me now. You should be able to hear me now. Okay, so but you can
Now
hear.
I can't hear Jonathan.
I don't know, Lou, because you could hear me, and according to my OBS, my microphone is
the channel on.
being picked up. Live. No, I'm joking. Yeah. So,
I hear you on it.
okay, so we're good. We're good. So you went to the beach. How was that first beach hunt? I know the beaches in Staten Island aren't really populated the way Coney Island is, the way Orchard Beach are in terms of people going to the beach. But did you see anybody out in March when you went?
Actually, I did. There are people even when I went out in March, there was couples walking by. I don't think people that are very conscious about where they're walking. So I'm like playing Frogger. You got to keep away from everybody. But now it seems like everybody's taking it seriously, and everybody, well, at least in Staten Island, Brooklyn was really packed with dogs and people.
Yeah, that Prospect Park hunt was crazy. Did you see anybody with face masks when you went out on that Prospect Park hunt?
Most people are wearing masks, yes.
Most people wearing masks. Were you guys in the crew wearing masks? I remember I saw Merrill with his mask.
I take mine on and off depending if I'm going near somebody, but most of the time I'm at least 6 feet away from people.
Yeah, it's a weird situation because they tell people not to go out, and sort of that first week that they sort of opened up the parks again, the situation in New York, I don't know if you've saw the news, but some people were getting tickets for not wearing masks, and other people were being like arrested for not wearing masks, and it was kind of insane. Hey, Liz from Diggin' Canuck. Hey, Princess and Pirate. Yeah, so that first week they were really enforcing that social distancing, and they were sort of doing it in the wrong way.
Yeah,
in New York.
I think this is going to be very complicated to do anything with mass amounts of people.
Mm-hmm.
And even though the NYPD has more employees than the FBI, it's almost impossible to do. And when it is a big crowd, you feel bad for the cops because what are they going to do? They're putting their own lives at risk.
Right, and they can't. It's sort of like the amount of cops that they have. It's not enough to get rid of everybody in a park. And I remember that the police commissioner was like, he sort of apologized or backstepped. Like, we went about this the wrong way. We shouldn't be handing out tickets. We should be handing out masks and asking people to wear the masks and not hand out tickets to everybody. Because it's like, how do you enforce that? You know, and some people, they have asthma or other health conditions and they can't really wear the masks. So
yeah, it's a bad situation. But they are giving out masks at parks. I haven't seen them, but I've seen videos, local newspaper of them doing that. The community section of the police department handing out masks to people. It's really nice.
Yeah. Are you planning on doing any beach detecting soon?
Yes. So I never found anything gold, and that's going to be my focus. One, the brushes and the plants are growing. Staten Island has a huge tick problem because we have an influx of deer.
Not only Staten Island, but Dead Horse Bay, a place that you and Meryl like to go out to. That place
Yeah,
gets infested with ticks as well.
I never had a tick, and I never want to get a tick.
Yeah,
If I want to eradicate one bug or whatever that you want to call them,
hmm
it'd be a tick.
Wow. Yeah, I think that in New York, typically the beach season, for those who don't know, in New York City, the beaches typically open on Memorial Day weekend. So that's this weekend coming up. And the lifeguards are on duty from Memorial Day weekend to Labor Day weekend. So that's what we consider the beach season, where there are depositors dropping stuff on the beach. So we've been getting mixed messages here from the governor and from the mayor. Have you seen the two sides of the story that they've been giving out?
Yeah, it's so cringy, and I'm less stressed. Say hi, Harper. Less stressed watching these news briefings. I think the best thing to do is to you just have to. Best way to stay happy is to not just read headlines, not to take everything with a grain of salt, especially if they ever play the game telephone when you're a kid.
Yeah.
Listen to the health officials, actual data, okay, and you'll be happier. But that is just embarrassing. See, it's like two children arguing. Like,
Yeah. So for those who don't know, for those who aren't in New York, Governor Cuomo basically said, look, the beaches are going to be open, right? The state beaches are going to be open because uh, Connecticut's going to open their beaches, New Hampshire, New Jersey, they're all going to open their beaches, and we don't want New Yorkers leaving the state to go to Connecticut, to go to New Jersey, to go to, other places where the beaches are open, so we're going to open our beaches. And then Mayor de Blasio said, okay, yeah, we're not going to open the beaches in New York City. What? And it's a crazy situation because I remember that last weekend the weather was beautiful here, and there was on News 12, the Bronx, there was sort of a newscaster at Orchard Beach, and there's people walking on the beach, walking on the boardwalk, you know,
yeah,
and it's sort of like everybody has to measure the risk for themselves. You know what I mean? Like,
but
you can't be cooped up in your house all day.
it's definitely not healthy. If this was like the movie Outbreak, where you have to like seal your windows to stay safe, that's one thing.
hmm
I personally, this is just my opinion, and I'm not a doctor. I really feel if you are outside, I'm not talking about restaurants, I'm talking about just outside in the sun, wearing a mask, or if you're not wearing a mask, as long as you're away from everybody, I don't see the problem. I think it's good to get sun.
hmm
I believe that federal officials, local, everybody should be talking about staying active and eating healthy.
Yeah.
That will also probably help you if, God forbid, you get any illness, flu, anything.
Oh no, on that point, it's one of the most important things for your immune system is vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc. And vitamin D you get, from the sun. That's the main way you get it. So in a way, it's sort of disadvantageous to your immune system to stay inside. You should be, getting sun.
Yes, sun. They say it's not good to sit down for long periods of time, and that's what we're doing every day.
Yeah.
I work inside and outside. Luckily, I'm able to stay home half the time
hmm
or more. But it's not good for me just sitting here, even when I'm at work in an office. Anytime I get a break, I try to move around, and that's really important.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of moving around, in some recent videos, you found rings. There were two rings that you found, one navy ring. Have you had any luck trying to find the owner of that ring?
Well, the first one was the Marines ring that I found in a
Marine
park.
ring. Yep.
I was
Sorry.
dreaming about this park for so long, and on weekdays I only have a little window right after work. So I hit that park. Unfortunately, it didn't have an inscription on it. It looks like it may be a World War II ring, so unfortunately a lot of World War II veterans aren't around anymore.
Right.
I did put posts on Facebook and Craigslist. I haven't gotten any responses, though, unfortunately. I'd really love to return it. One of my favorite things that I would want to do is return something. Good feeling.
Yeah. I think, was that ring gold or was it silver?
So I brought it to a couple of jewelry stores, and they wouldn't even test it. So I'm going to have my friend Steve test it with his kit.
Huh.
Maybe like some kind of alloy, I'm not sure, but it's not tarnished. It rang up like gold. Sorry about the noise.
No, it's fine. Kids will be kids. Hey, Adele's in the chat. Hey, Adele. How you doing?
Hi, Adele.
So yeah, it wasn't inscribed with any marking inside?
No, but somebody in my club told me it looked like somebody might have added a little bit of metal on there. Let me fix my camera.
Oh, like if it was
It was
plated?
too big. It was possibly made smaller for a smaller finger.
Oh, resized.
Yeah.
Nice.
So they could have covered an inscription. I don't know.
That's
I
true.
think
That's a
the
good
range
point.
was 12 or 13 on the Equinox.
Yeah, that's gold range. That's not silver. Silver will come up a bit higher. I think the lowest silver I ever got was 19, and that was the silver ring with the emerald I found in Orchard Beach. So that was the first ring you had found, and then recently you found that sort of ring with the Jewish star that you said was it Turkish or?
So one person said it may be Turkish.
Hmm.
And then I have a friend in Egypt that I met through reporting through the uprising in Egypt a while ago, and I still kept in touch with this young lady.
Hmm.
She said that that's Arabic writing on both sides, and it means God on each, and it could mean some other spiritual. I forgot exactly what she said about that, but it could be a Moroccan star, with like the flag symbol.
Hmm.
The other Arabic lady that my president knows said it may be like a respect thing, like a Jewish person, possibly from one of these Islamic countries. It
Hmm.
shows unity. And she's like, "Oh my God, that's so beautiful." I was like, "Wow, who would have thought I would have found something like that?"
Yeah, that was a crazy find when I saw you pull it out, and then like Meryl came over and you were showing him, and you were like, "Ooh."
Yeah. And it's a shame because he found something good, and I was like so in the zone with what I found.
Hmm.
I didn't really notice that he found gold at that second. I'm looking
Oh
at him
yeah,
like,
he found that little gold medallion.
that happens to everybody, I guess. It's like,
Yeah, and both rings were found in the same park.
no, the Maroons ring I found near my job in Staten Island.
Okay,
That beautiful religious ring was found in Brooklyn.
cool. Do you plan on going to Prospect Park sort of more during the summer, or are you planning on just sort of hitting up the beaches more on weekends?
I think I'm going to focus mostly on beaches
Hmm.
because I love finding jewelry. I just
Yeah.
do. I mean, I love getting the historical stuff. I love finding silver coins. I'll take those any day of the week. But I haven't found gold yet, and I want to get that gold find.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've only found gold a few times, but the feeling you get when you pull it up, it's like, you know,
Yeah.
you sort of get a
Oh,
shock
the
to your
big
system.
gold chain. I want to find that.
Oh yeah, the gold chain. I had found a little gold bracelet, and I think Rob was the one who found that crazy chain on Coney Island the same day I lost my cell phone last year. So that was kind
I
of
found it
insane.
on Coney Island. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he found that fat gold chain on Coney Island. It was insane.
And there's a lot of detectors there. A
Yeah,
lot.
I mean that was the same day also that Merrill had found the platinum ring, and so like there were just crazy finds all around.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think Coney Island is one of the busiest beaches, especially for tourists, just because it is like amusement park and all the history that was there.
Nathan's. Everybody, it's a tour.
Nathan's, definitely, especially 4th of July. 4th of July, for those who don't
Yeah.
know,
Which is
Nathan's has a
Joey
huge
Chestnut.
hot dog eating contest.
Joey Chestnut.
Joey
Scored
Chestnut, he wins. He
$100.
wins most years. Oh, sorry. Carlos had found the chain. I keep saying Rob, but Carlos had found that fat chain. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Thanks, Merrill, for clearing that up. Yeah, definitely. I remember last year when we went to Coney Island the day after the 4th of July.
Oh, forget it. All that garbage. Yeah.
Yeah, it made you want to cry. But
Yeah.
you
Like,
guys had found
the
so
picture of
much.
the Native American crying. That's what I felt like.
Yeah, there was just like plastic strewn on the beach. You could barely see the sand. So much,
Diapers, glass bottles, Corona caps.
all types
I
of
can't
stuff.
believe people leave diapers on a beach. I mean, let me not get into the negativity, but you have to be a real, you know what.
Oh
Some-
yeah, I mean it was just horrible the state that they left the beach in, especially because if you're going somewhere, take your trash with, take everything with you. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, why leave anything there?
Right. So I've been thinking, I don't like to complain, but maybe I should start like a non-for-profit for cleaning up litter. Obviously, these DSNY guys and the parks, they're overwhelmed. They're going to need some kind of help. I love to clean stuff, so
I mean, in
gotta
New
help
York,
out.
Something happened where I can't see you anymore. Give me 1 second. There you go. There you are. Your video sort of cut out, but then it came back, and now it cut out again. It's the strangest thing.
Well, I'm going really slow. Is my internet bad?
No, I see you. You're good. You're good. I think you're good.
Everybody in the chat, can they hear us clearly?
Yeah, I think they could hear you because I'm seeing your microphone like go up and down when you talk. So, yeah, I was just saying that just all the parks in New York are so bad. I don't know if there's anywhere that's as bad as New York City, just in terms of even the trash fines you get. You know that video that Merrill had put up recently where he found his Real, and he went to that park and he's swinging his detector and there's hardly any beeps.
Epic.
Yeah, and then he finds the Real out of nowhere. It's like, oh my god! But that park seemed so clean compared to the parks where we detect.
Yeah.
And
hi, part-time detector from Florida.
Hey, part-time, how you doing? So yeah, I was just shocked when he was swinging his detector, and he'd swing it 2 or 3 times and not get a sound. I was like, where the hell are you? Is that New York? Like, what's going on?
Right. Those are the type of places, I'm going to be honest with you, you don't want to skip anything. Because obviously there's not a lot of trash, and something could change the dirt could change the composition of the metal, and it could be anything.
Definitely. I mean, that was definitely an exciting find. He's had some crazy finds this week and last week.
Yeah, he should definitely change his name to Hardcore Metal Detecting. He's definitely hardcore.
Yeah, he needs to release an album, just all his songs, hardcore metal detecting music.
Yeah.
Sort of to pump people up right before going out on a hunt. Hey, that might be an interesting story. How did you first meet Merrill, Metal Detecting New York City?
I think I might have started talking to you first. I'm not even sure. You're the coordinator. You're like the hub. You brought everybody together.
Yeah, it's funny because Dennis and Marilyn, I think they said they met Merrill first, and Merrill sort of pointed them to my channel. But yeah, and I think Merrill and Keith had known each other before he met me. So
I think I was looking at my old videos from Coney Island. I remember he said towards the end, it was nice finally meeting you. Other than he said something like that. I think it was the first time was Coney Island. It might have been after 4th of July or the one before that. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's just interesting the way that we all sort of like know each other. And now there's new people. There's Tracy's Treasures, who's been hunting the parks up here in the Bronx recently. Merrill has been hunting with Jeff, and little by little, I think if this whole COVID thing wasn't going out, we'd be going out sort of in large groups. Let's just put it that way. There's so many of us now. Yeah.
And also, it's not just staying away from each other. This new reality is you have to find time for all these tasks to make sure you have enough food in your house.
Oh, yeah.
Going out to all these different places. You want to get what you need squared away before you go do any extracurricular stuff.
The funny thing is, it sort of not forces, but many people are choosing to buy in bulk now. Like you go out once and then you don't have to go out for another 2 or 3 weeks because you bought so much toilet paper, things that non-perishable things or things that last a long time, like rice, canned food, and sort of in between figuring out how are you going to work. Are you going to work from home today? Do you have to go in? Do you have to go out shopping? If you need to leave your house to do laundry, what time is the best to do that when there's not a lot of people going? Just finding time for yourself to be outside and clear your head. It's just important to do that. Merrill says he goes crazy, if he doesn't go out detecting, and it's one of those things where you have to find time to do everything now.
It's called having the bug. You want to go do what you want to do. It's your time. Everybody. It's not only that. You need to act. This is another thing. You need to exercise.
You need to. It's so hard in the New York City apartment.
I'd be jogging or gym. I'm not crazy about going to the gym and looking at all the people that I want to be.
Yeah.
That I don't really think like that anymore.
There's something called the COVID-19. Have you heard of that? The COVID-19.
What?
It's sort of like the freshman 15, like when you enter college and you're a freshman and you gain 15 pounds. Well, now because of coronavirus, they're saying people are gaining weight, so they call it the COVID-19. Like you're gaining 19 pounds because you've been at home all day with, afraid to go out because of coronavirus. It's pretty
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. I think I'm the same weight, but it's definitely not healthy not being active. Hello, Brooklyn Treasure Hunter and Marty. How are you?
Brooklyn Treasure Hunter, that's another one I haven't met. We have to go out to Prospect Park or somewhere out there sometime. What you drinking tonight, Lou?
Yeah, so there's this new drink that's all the rage on Staten Island. The Ralph's Famous Ice
Hmm.
collaborated with Flagship Brewery, and they made this hard seltzer. Not really my style to drink that, but because there's so much hype, I tried to get it from a store that said they had it. I think they just had one case and sold out just to get people in the store. So I was
Oh,
like, all
wow.
right, I need to take this case of Bud Light.
Is that local? Oh, sorry, Bud Light. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the other one is two local places. That's right.
hmm
Ralph's Famous Ices, Italian Ices, and Flagship Brewery, microbrewery.
hmm
Made this hard seltzer, kind of like a White Claw. But
That's
I'm hearing
interesting.
mixed things about it now. I mean, it's a great branding idea, but who knows how good it tastes.
But okay. You didn't try it?
They sold out in 15 minutes.
Oh, they sold out before you
It
were
just
able to get a
there you
case.
Of course, I want it because everybody's getting it until
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting idea. Hard seltzer. I've had not your father's root beer, which is pretty good. Sort of like a hard root beer. Never had a hard seltzer.
Yeah,
That's
it's
interesting.
White Claw. All the people like White Claw. Whatever. I haven't had that. I'm
Yeah.
more of a beer, or I don't know. I like a lot of things. So
Yeah, I myself I like Magic Hat number 9 that's made with peaches. I like Sam Adams cherry wheat. It has that nice cherry
like
flavor.
you can't drink a lot of those though, like on
No.
a hot summer day.
Yeah,
I
and
can.
I like that Mermaid Pilsner from the Coney Island Brewery.
I haven't tried that. I want to try that.
That's
though.
made out there in Brooklyn. We got to try it one day when we go out to Coney Island.
Do it. Let's drink and detect together.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time. That's not stereotypical at all. Just a detector in one hand and a beer in the other.
Good times. You got to
No.
celebrate something.
Oh man, we've had some good times in Coney Island. I remember last year just detecting at night and looking at the lights and being, "Whoa, this is so awesome."
Yeah. When I was a kid, I would never picture I would be there doing that at the time of my life. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
When I was a kid, I said, "Wow, that looks like such a cool thing to do." It's just not a popular thing to do. Oh well, I don't care if it's popular. It's so much fun. It's fun. It's like hunting without killing anything. It's like playing Pokemon, but you get real prizes. And you can make money. You can find jewelry, hoard it, whatever you want to do. You make friends.
Mhm.
It's one of the best hobbies that no one either knows about or it's just not out there.
Yeah, it's interesting because sort of YouTube is a great way to sort of spread something. You know what I mean? Like to spread something that you've never done before. You see other people do it on YouTube, and then you're like, how can I do that? Let me see what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that's sort of how I got into the hobby. I had seen other people on YouTube metal detecting. And I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah, that's how it starts. YouTube. You
Mhm.
can build a house from YouTube. I mean, it's just an amazing thing. I rarely watch TV unless there's a really good series
Mhm.
on. I'm always on YouTube. I'm a tuber. I like YouTube.
Yeah, it's sort of funny to think that other people might be learning the hobby from us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's cool. That's what it's all about: inspiring people and creating stuff.
Yeah, I know. I've had questions from other from some people like, oh, what machine do you use? Where do you go? I'm close to New York. How do I detect there? And I show them, here's where you go to get a permit, or this is the machine I use.
Right. Yep.
It's sort of that they look to us. Even if we're not experts, they look to us because they see us doing it and they see what we find.
That's right.
Yeah. So.
There's always that question: what's the best detector? And
Oh
it always-
yeah,
it always
that's.
depends on what application you're going for. Beach detector. Are you in an area with red clay? You really got to look into all these things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any detector that just does everything. I mean, the Equinox is really good, but I remember in the last video that Merrill had put up, he had his huge watt coil and he had a signal, and then when Rob put his Equinox over it, he wasn't getting that signal. And so it was one of those things where, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it could happen. That's right.
So
Yep.
yeah, there's no best detector out there for any particular situation.
Right. And there's places on Staten Island that I know for the last 30 years have been pounded to death with various amounts of detectives.
Hmm.
And one of the old timers took me out there. I wouldn't call him old timer, but he's a veteran.
Hmm.
And damn, I brought my White's MX Sport out there the first day I had it, and I found a King George copper coin. And it wasn't even that deep. Like,
Yeah,
deep.
you go to a lot of interesting places in your videos. There's some videos where, I mean, aside from the popular places to detect here in New York, like the beaches and Prospect Park, there's some places where you're like in the woods and there's bottles everywhere.
Yeah. There's a ton of history on Staten Island.
Mhm.
Some of it is not pleasant to learn about, but all the way back from Native Americans and people fighting off for the land, colonial, the Huguenots, Spanish colony. There's just so
Definitely.
much stuff out here. It's just mind-boggling once you learn about it.
Yeah, a lot of the videos that you put up that you're showing like historical plaques or historical houses, those are like some of the more interesting stuff, that I like to see.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's funny to say this, but a lot of people don't spend the time to read and learn about history. And so, how do they learn? If you're watching a YouTube video and someone's showing you something or telling you something, that's one way now that, the newer generation is learning about things.
And believe it or not, it's not popular to go to libraries anymore because of the internet.
That is true.
If you go to the library, you might find stuff, or the historical societies, you find archived maps and other records that you're not getting on the internet that aren't digital yet.
Oh, it's definitely true.
So it's so cool. I was in the Tottenville Library, that's the southernmost tip of New York City,
Hmm.
and there was something about the African Americans that settled. They were the first free slaves that were oystermen, and it was by the family who lived there, from generations down. And a lot of that information was not on the internet, and it shows you where they lived and where they're buried and where the families still are that are alive today. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. And I know that sometimes when you go out hunting, you go with some of the people from your clubs, right?
Yep.
And you learn from them as well, too, right?
I'm sorry.
When you guys sort of meet up in the club, you're always learning from them as well when you have your club meetings.
Of course, yeah. We share stories, our finds, and that's another reason why joining a club is good. I mean,
Hmm.
people say, "Well, I'm not joining a club; it costs money." Some of these clubs are like $20 for the entire year.
Hmm.
I paid $20 for one of my Jersey clubs for the year. I bought a raffle ticket and I won an $800 detector. So, besides
Nice.
that, I made friends, and they're not all going to tell you where they go. And if they do, they don't want you to share it, which is fine. But you're
Yeah.
making friends, you're being sociable. Humans need to be social to be happy. It's a fact. It's data.
Hmm. It's also one of those things where if you do something sort of alone, in isolation, you could fall out of, whatever that habit is if there's no one else there, if it's just you. And so having that sort of support group or friends, you're looking for something because, the next time you have a meeting, you want something, interesting to show or a good story to tell. Oh, cool, the globe. So yeah, that just sounds awesome. And
Yeah.
so you're part of a club in New Jersey. Are you also part of a club in Staten Island or?
I'm in 3 clubs.
Mhm.
The Staten Island History Hunters Metal Detecting Club.
Mhm.
In Edison, New Jersey, Deep Search Metal Detecting Club.
Mhm.
Deep Search, that's right. And ECRDA, I would say ECRDA is one of the biggest on the East Coast. It's oh, there goes my beer. I keep throwing the globe at me. ECRDA, East Coast Research and Discovery.
East Coast Research and Discovery.
They are such an awesome club. They do awesome hunts. They get awesome permissions. So they also have this every year. They go to the Fossil Mineral Gem Show, and what they do is they set up a giant thing with tents, show all the finds off. They have a little patch for kids to metal detect in to get them interested in.
Huh.
And they also have a board. Anybody that comes there, there's a lot of people from farms.
Mhm.
say, hey, you might have treasure or something on your land. Would you like us to detect your land? And they'll sign their name and address and telephone number.
Oh wow! So you can get permissions from
So the
there.
head commissions, and then whoever helps out in the club gets first dibs. It's really awesome.
Oh, that just sounds cool. That just sounds
Yeah.
awesome. I haven't been really part of a detecting club, but we do have our group of YouTubers that often
Yeah,
go
that makes
out.
sense.
Definitely. Yeah, and I'm really hoping that we can, hit those beaches soon. I probably am going to go out to the beach probably tomorrow or this weekend, just because it is Memorial Day. I'm not going to be stuck inside.
And people are at the beach.
People
They
are.
are hanging out, 'cause
They
there's
might
nothing-
they might not be swimming, but they are out there.
Right.
Part-time detector said, if a detectorist finds a real in the woods and there's no one around to see it, did it really happen? It depends if he got it on camera.
Yeah. I'm almost afraid to find something too good. You're going to believe me. As you can see, how my stream has been on for a few years.
Mhm.
I found very limited stuff. So I hope I find it on a live dig.
Do you think that the last year of metal detecting has been your best?
My last year, yes.
Do
You
you
said
think-
my last year has been the best?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, I found 3 bucket listers going in a part of the woods. It was an epic day. I got my first large scent, maybe 7. Then I found a pistol ball, first one, 2 bucket listers, then 7 to the left. I found a seeded quarter. I didn't even know it was a seeded quarter. I didn't even care about it because I found my first large scent.
Wow.
The seeded quarter was so burnt, they probably fell into a fire or something, and all that was left was the date. So at least I got a year off of it. It was 18.
Wow.
Epic.
Now, what do you do with those finds, like the coins, the older coins? Do you just throw them in the box, or do you preserve them somehow?
I try to clean them up
Mhm.
unless they have some kind of monetary value, and if some has some monetary value, I try not to clean it at all.
Mhm.
And then I'll put it in one of those cardboard plastic things,
The
sleeve
coin flip. Yep.
coin flips. Yeah.
Yeah, those are cool. I have a binder just full of things, and whenever I find something silver, I just put it in there. But yeah, is there anything, do you think, that let's say you found something, and have you ever had a moment when you're like, maybe I'm not going to record this or put this on video?
Ooh. Yes, I think so. Yeah. There's sometimes I don't want to record things. That's right.
Yeah. Sometimes, like, I see just
Depends where I
strange.
am.
Oh, sorry, what was that?
It depends where I am.
Depends where you are. Yeah, it's sort of like, especially on the beaches, when you find something really good, and the beaches in New York tend to get packed, you don't want to yell or shout or be too happy and draw that attention to yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it gets hard to record. I remember once I was with Merrill, and he had found a ring, and I'm like, I look in his scoop, and I'm like, oh, wow. And I'm trying to contain my excitement.
Yeah.
But that was kind of insane.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. So if anybody in the chat has any questions for us, go ahead and ask your questions. I've been reading and monitoring the chat. But if anybody has any questions, for me, for Lou, just go ahead and ask.
Here to answer.
Marty says that's what he does, the 2x2 flips and in a binder. Yeah,
Perfect.
and we have to get Merrill on that. Merrill has had some crazy finds.
Yes. And if you find some of these coins, they're called the key dates, whether it's a low mintage,
Mhm.
a variety, they might have more of a monetary value. So you
Mhm.
may not want to clean it. It's good to have print out one of those sheets that tells you what are the more rare, low mintage coins.
On that note, give me a second. Keep saying, but I'm gonna get something just on that same note.
Yeah, so if you have low mintage coin, you want to make sure you're not handling it too much, cleaning it, put it in one of those coin flips, and preserve it. Keep it to the side. Maybe get it appraised depending on how rare it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of website resources for those sort of that tell you the mintage.
The Red Book is one of the best books to get. It's probably under $10. You get it at Barnes & Noble. You get it online.
Yeah.
It's updated every year, but that probably is the best book to get. I
Yeah.
would say, from my
Um.
my research on coins and stuff.
So do you only collect and save the older coins, right? You don't sort of fill up coin books or anything like that.
The newer clad. A lot of people say they hoard everything. I do the same thing Merrill does. I bring it to the coin stock
Hmm.
because TD Bank was caught taking some of the money from those dumps.
Yeah, it's the whole TD Bank thing, and then there was this huge class action lawsuit, and people were sort of given money back. Hey Dennis, Dennis just got into the chat. Fancy Indiana Tones guest on the Detecting Zone, moving up in the world. But
Right.
yeah, I think the whole thing with the TD Bank, because I was a TD Bank, I am a TD Bank customer. I have an account with them. Is that the it wasn't like on purpose. The machines counted wrong.
Right, and I felt like I counted my money
Hmm.
and just brought it there, and it was shortchanged. But I was like, oh, whatever. What are you gonna
Yeah. It's sort of like you can't go back. It all goes into a bag. I don't know
do?
if you've ever seen them like change out the machines, but there's huge bags of change under. It's like, how do you separate yours from everybody else's?
Yeah,
You can't.
yeah,
Yeah.
so well.
It's very strange. But when you had said, about mintages and stuff like that, so I have sort of these coin books that I buy for different things. And one thing I really like about the coin books, I'm just going to open up this wheat penny book. You could look in, and under the year, it tells you how many were minted. So
Yeah,
for example, this one down here, it says only 15.2 million. And if you get anything under 10 million, minted, that's sort of like a key date or pretty rare. And
yeah.
so yeah, that's a good way to keep track if you get coin books, and you don't even have to fill them up. Even if you don't fill them up, they're good resources to have.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Just putting them here. A lot of them have coins, so they're a bit heavy. Michael says Coinstar rules. It has spotted many silver coins I missed.
Yes. So the Coinstar, they're mostly at Stop and Shop where I live. You go in there. I found twice. I found Mercury dimes or Rosies in there.
Yeah. Do you know how that works? Why it doesn't accept
Wait,
them?
I
The
think I
weight.
said the weight. Pretty sure.
That's interesting.
Same size.
I know Merrill, when he goes to put his coins in the Coinstar, it's happened to him on video, I think at least twice, where the Coinstar machine gets jammed on him. Has that ever happened to you?
That has not happened, thank goodness.
Hmm.
But I do get the opt. If you opt for the gift card, you get 100%. I usually get the Amazon just like Merrill does. No, so that's a good thing.
And do you tumble your coins before going to the Coinstar, or do you just clean them with water and then go put them in?
I should, but I don't. I usually rinse all my coins off. If there's like the clad ones that are broken in half, I don't put them in there. But that's it. I rinse them. Yeah, it takes them all.
Yeah, I think the Zinkins don't put them in. They tend to break and be brittle, and they probably won't be the right weight anyway. But everything else,
Yeah.
fair game.
There's always like a Chuck E. Cheese token or a silver coin, and not all the time, but a lot of times. And a lot of people take their foreign coins, they leave them on top because they don't even want them.
Oh yeah, I have so many foreign coins that I found just being here in New York City. Crazy collection of foreign coins. I have no idea what to do with them.
Do a giveaway.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will. I haven't hit like 500 subs yet, but if I have like a lot of copies of the same coin, that's a good idea.
Might as well. I did it before.
Oh, you've done a foreign coin giveaway?
I did. I had a few. It was a bad winter a couple of years ago. I was doing coin roll hunting. There was nothing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was coin roll hunting. I had all these wrapped coins that could have had varieties in them that weren't open. So I took a couple of those. I took a huge bag of foreign coins. I didn't want. I don't really like foreign coins unless they're silver or rare. So I gave them all away. I was just having a good time, and I was also winning a lot of giveaways. So.
Oh yeah, it's always good to give back.
Yeah, it was just something fun to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a huge fan of giveaways, but it's just fun. It's like an activity. I don't know.
No, yeah, and it gets people interested and engaged.
Right.
Too. Like they want to see who wins. They want to see what's being given away.
Yeah.
It's just a fun way to engage with the audience here on YouTube. And speaking of that, there haven't been a lot of sort of YouTubers posting videos in the past few months. There's sort of been a decrease. Have you
Yes,
noticed
so I
that?
guess that's good for people that are posting.
Yeah, the people that are posting are sort of I would say getting more views than usual,
Yeah,
uh, just
underdogs.
because of the less quantity of videos out there.
I think it's time for some new blood. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I think the top YouTubers in the metal detecting community, um, they've been on top for a while. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be on top, but I think other people should be getting recognition and are producing a unique and interesting content. Your content, with the historical places in Staten Island. I don't think there's anybody else doing that in that location. You know, Merrill's content where he's creating like this culture around finding silver and getting Haagen-Dazs, finding a ring and getting tacos, putting out rap
Sorry,
videos.
I'm
It's sort
kind
of
of jealous. I'm going to be honest with you.
hmm? What happened?
I'm kind of jealous. I wish I thought of that.
Yeah, it's sort of like he's creating a culture around
Yeah,
his
I'm
channel,
about. Yeah,
and the
I'm
people
about to
who
have my calling card too.
watch him are, oh, hey, cool, thanks for the subscription, John. I just got a new subscriber there. That was interesting. Because it was over my video but under yours, so I have it too far down on my list. I'm gonna put it just above. Sorry.
No worries.
There you go. That should fix that. But yeah, thanks, John Callum USA Calamusa.
Oh, John Calamusa. He's in my club.
Oh, he is.
He's a nice guy. Yeah, he's a great guy. He I forgot what Mind Lab he has. Can't think of what Mind Lab he
Is
has.
it the CTX 3030?
It says Mind Lab 7 something.
Okay.
7 something.
Okay.
Good machine though.
Yeah, cool. Well, speaking about machines, what machines? I mean, I know that now you use your Knox, but what other machines do you have?
So I have this Titan machine. It's made by some Texas company through Kellyco. It was a hand-me-down from my dad.
Okay.
I borrowed that. That's the first time I metal detected. Ocean City, Maryland. I
Okay.
took it with me, and I found a lot of clad, and I found I found designer glasses. I gave to my mother-in-law.
Oh, wow, cool.
Right after that, so I got that.
hmm
The Whites MX Sport I won.
And you won that at the club, right?
Won that at the club. That Deep Search.
hmm
Oh, there was like the Christmas giveaway, top
Yeah.
prize. I was super excited because at that point I was like, it was a couple years ago, so I was like, do I get the AT Pro? Do I get the AT Max? This is before the Equinox came out.
Right.
Do I get a Deus? I didn't know, and then bam, I won this. I was like, wow, I don't have to spend $800. This is great. But I bought the Garrett Carrot from the Gold Digger
The pinpointer, right?
brick and mortar store in New Jersey. Now he's online. Great
Mhm.
guy. He gives our clubs discounts.
Oh, cool.
Plug there. There he is. MindLab Xterra 705. There you go.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, John. John named the detector you had. Cool.
Awesome.
What do you think about the new detectors coming out? The Garrett recently released the video for the Apex. MindLab has the Vanquish. Nocta has the Simplex.
I think there's a competition is really good for pricing
hmm
through the this is my personal opinion. I'm going to be honest with you. Like my buddy Steve, his wife found Spanish coins on the beach with a Ace series Garrett.
Yeah.
Obviously, some machines are better than others at discriminating, separating,
hmm
depending on what the kind of mineralization there is. But like I said, competition controls prices. But you also have to look at it from the company's point. Like they have all these detectors, the A series, they have the Pro, the Max. Where do they put this thing in between the Pro and the existing Ace?
Right.
And they put the price in between there. What are they going to do? They can't make it fully waterproof because that'll kill the AT, and they can't make it less money than the Ace that they already have because then you're going to kill all the Aces, you know.
Right. Yeah, I
But
sort of see that.
it's a great machine, but it's hard to compete when you have those other cheaper ones that are waterproof. That's what I'm getting the feedback I'm reading. But if you give it to me, I'll use it. How about that?
Yeah, that's sort of it's interesting. I think if you are if you're like loyal to Garrett and you're familiar with the A series and the numbers that they're giving, this new Garrett machine would be for you don't have to learn new numbers, with a different machine. You get this
Yeah.
Apex and you know what the numbers are telling you and you're able at least, part way to metal detect on the beach. You can't fully submerge the machine, but you can actually do beach detecting now. Where I have I had an Ace 350. I still have it, but I don't use it because it was not good on the beach on the wet sand. You know, you could do the dry sand just fine, but the wet sand was really hard. And I think you also had difficulties when you were using your whites machine on the beach, right?
Yes. So in the wet sand, it was horrible. You would have to put the sensitivity all the way down. You would get like that much of depth. And I was going nice and slow and low. And Merrill was behind me with his Equinox, and he found that huge bracelet with all the charms.
Yeah. I mean,
Are you kidding me?
It's kind of crazy, like the things that you miss when sort of there's so much chatter and there's not a lot of clarity, you know, with the machine that you're using. And I think with these multi-frequency machines, that's one of the things that sort of puts it above the rest. You know, the amount of clarity you get from the signals that you're getting with the machine. Detección Metallica says, "I get drunk with clad money." That's hilarious.
Good stuff. Hey.
Yeah, we have a few people in the chat. We have Michael Swan, who just went over, you know, the Ace machines, the Excalibur machines, the Nox whites.
I like them all. I like the whites MX Sport too.
Yeah.
It's not good in the wet part of the sand and the ocean. That's where I always wanted to detect in the wet part, because that's where you find a lot of the rings. So, and
sort of the water, just sort of the lubrication of, you know, between the finger and the ring, and sort of the way the water sort of makes your fingers sort of small and shrink a little bit and shrivel. That's how they all come off.
And the Equinox is good for the little tiny finds I found on the beach. The cons of the Equinox, I find, I mean, I see a lot of videos where it gets really deep silver.
Mm-hmm.
But I see other machines go, you know, a seated dime that's down 18 inches, is there a machine really good for that? Maybe the CTX, the Deus, I don't know. But do I want to spend $2,500 for a seated dime? I don't.
I think that, what was it, the Excalibur or the Excalibur 2 back in the day was like prohibitively expensive. And it was one of those first, you know, machines that were fully submersible. It was also pulse induction. Pulse induction just happens to be more expensive. But it was one of those machines that was fully submersible. And when I was looking to buy a new machine, I was like, that would be so cool, but it's so expensive.
Yeah. You might be able to buy it secondhand, because as new machines come out, people get rid of their old ones. But that Excalibur is pretty awesome on the sand as well.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Excalibur. Unless I'm going to go scuba diving, I'm not going to get the Excalibur.
Right.
Nox for now. I may get another machine down the road. We'll see.
Yeah, I think that, you know how your smartphone, it has all these cool apps and extra stuff it could do. I'd be interested to see when detectors become smart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, sort of, they have cameras, and when you find something, you could take a picture, and that picture is automatically geotagged with where you found it, and at the end of the day, you can look at it, and it'll give you, like, a map of where you've walked on the beach, and you could sort of export that to Instagram or something like, you know what I mean? Like, some kind of smart features, and a lot of the detectors that we have now, they have sort of that same sort of display, where it's not like an LCD display, but it's sort of like a display that you had on the old video games. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's sort of just like gray and black. And I'd like to see a detector with updated display. Just update it. Give me something awesome. You know, give me sort of, when I'm pinpointing, an idea of how big my object is, a visual idea, because you get that auditory idea, but a visual idea. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
If sort of...
And the battery lasts longer too.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the good things about the Apex. They were saying that battery life is very good. Dennis says that there's apps that can track you, and that is true. But if it was all in your detector, you don't have to take out your phone, especially when you're detecting in a park and it's dirty and your hands are dirty or wet from the salt water and you don't want to touch your phone.
Right. Like, the cell phone took over so many things. Navigation, I don't put that thing on my window anymore. I use my phone.
Yeah, watches.
It's a one-stop shop soon.
People wear watches just for fashion now.
That's right.
It's not to keep the time. Everybody has a cell phone.
Who has a phone book?
Right. What, a phone book? Yeah. What's that?
You got a quarter for a payphone?
Oh yeah, they've removed sort of most of the payphones here in the city as well. You know, since people have been getting what do you call them, cell phones. There's a lot of things that sort of have gone away. Um, yeah, just times are changing.
Yeah. The CTX does have GPS tracking for your fines. I don't know how it works. I haven't seen it, but
Yeah, I've seen that, and there's one guy here in New York who also has been posting videos recently. I think his name was Edwin Padilla. He is actually a New York metal detectorist, and I've met him once on Coney Island. He had pulled, I'm not sure if it was a Morgan dollar, but he had pulled something like crazy from the water in Coney Island, and I think he was using a CTX 3030 and just talking about it. I was amazed. I was like, whoa.
awesome.
Yeah.
So the beaches out here in Staten Island, they're iron infested in some areas.
Hmm.
The part in South Beach and the boardwalk is clean because they constantly use the machines. But other areas are filled with small. They call them space peanuts, the guys, but they're small pieces of aluminum.
Oh yeah, I hate those things.
It is everywhere. I don't get it.
And they're molten. They're not like cans.
Yeah,
sort of like
somebody
rocks.
said it might be from people with their bonfires, melting cans. But there's such an abundance. It's got to be something else. It had to be a factory that dumped them or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well,
So you've been to a lot of the Staten Island beaches. Can you tell us how they rank compared to how many people go to those beaches, compared to, let's say, Coney Island or other beaches that you've been to in the city?
it's not even in the same sport. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, it's very little. It depends. You have the state park where people go. We are not allowed to go there unless you get permission for that day through
Right.
the park police. But the other, I've seen. There's nothing like Coney Island or Orchard Beach whatsoever. There's now. I really wish they made something with that boardwalk. It's just they have one place you can get ice cream and that's it. No entertainment. They'll have events, but there's no vendors. It's really boring. Blah.
Yeah.
I,
There's, those. I like that New York City has a variety though, because at those beaches, like a beach that is not populated that much, you can get older stuff.
that's true.
You get,
Sure.
more Mercury dimes, more, Buffalo nickels. And I remember that time we had all gone out to Staten Island to Militech, and they were just finding crazy. We were all just finding crazy stuff out there.
Yeah. Keith found one of those vintage keyholes, and Merrill found a couple. I found a Mercury dime. I found that heart ring, the silver heart ring.
Yeah, but like at a beach at like Coney Island that gets hit so hard, nobody's gonna find that stuff.
Yeah, I can't picture finding Mercury dimes there.
Yeah. Actually, I think Dennis, who's in the chat, I think he did find a Buffalo nickel. It was either him or his mom had found a Buffalo nickel out on Orchard Beach, and that was insane. When he had found that, I was like, "Whoa!"
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty insane.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Are there any places in New York City or other places that you hope to hit up this year?
Oh, this year that we're allowed to go to. Okay.
Yeah, like a location bucket list. Like I need to hunt here. It's I have to.
What does that say? When's the next big group hunt? Dennis Foster.
Oh man, Dennis, let me know when you get your permit. I am actually planning, hopefully, to go tomorrow to Orchard Beach. You're welcome to come with me.
New York City. Where do I want to hunt?
Yeah, where would you like to hunt if you could? I mean,
In the whole city?
well, no, that you're allowed. I mean, if it's in the whole city, obviously you'd say Central Park, right?
Hell yeah. Sunset Walk, Harold Bells.
That's where
So,
everybody wants to
That's the
hunt.
crown jewel. I really want to go in the woods of Staten Island, but I just don't want to get ticks.
Yeah,
There's so much history here.
that's
But-
one of those things that's seasonal.
There's places that no one hits, like near the housing projects,
Hmm.
unfortunately in high crime areas. There's these open fields that haven't been touched, and I'm just gonna go. I don't care.
Yeah.
I get along with everybody. So I don't, I just don't want to get robbed.
There's a few parks here in the Bronx. There's one. This is a funny story. I don't know if you've heard the story about St. Anne's Park here in the Bronx.
Vaguely.
So Merrill had originally, like when we first started going detecting, me and him together, he had said, "Hey, there's this park close to where I work," and I was doing some research on it. He had said that there was a plane crash
Where?
A plane had crashed in that park. And I'm looking up the history and I'm seeing that yes, a plane had crashed in St. Anne's Park. Hey.
Sorry, kids are wild right now. It's
No,
party time, bedtime.
it's all good. So yeah, he had wanted to go detecting in that park that a plane had crashed, and there's sort of early like video from back in the day, news video of them recording the debris from the plane crash in that park. And
Yeah.
as I did more research, I found out that that park is known for just having so many needles everywhere. And I was like, you know what, Meryl, maybe we shouldn't go out here. I don't want to be digging and sticking my hands in places where there might be,
Yeah,
hypodermic needles and stuff like that.
that sounds scary, man.
Yeah. Anyway, when you said, about rough areas, I don't know, it just sort of reminded me of the hypodermic needles at St. Anne's Park.
I would say just don't use your hands at all. Just use
Yeah, for real. Use a shovel.
use a hand shovel and then a plastic shovel to sift it, like one of those kid ones.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Have any local people done Owlhead Park? I don't know, Jason. I don't know anybody who's done that park in specific.
That sounds familiar. Is that Staten Island? Sounds familiar. Woo!
Jason,
Woo!
do you know if that park is in Staten Island? Oh, James has. Hey, there you go. So James has done that park. It's trashy. Yeah, a lot of parks out in the city are trashy, but a lot of them are old. And if you are willing to dig up the trash and get to those deeper layers, or just the way Merrill does, just dig the deeper targets, you could find good stuff in a lot of the parks. Anyway, we've been going for a bit over an hour.
I'm having fun.
Yeah, I'm having fun. I know Merrill's premiere at 9 or
You said 9.
at 9? Okay,
I'm
so
gonna grab a beer. Okay.
yeah, go right ahead. It's in Bay Bridge, Brooklyn. Sherwood Island Park. Anyone? I've never been to Sherwood Island. I have been to one of the islands, but not that one. What was it called? Randall's Island. I went to Randall's Island once after a sort of big event, and someone had lost a ring. They had messaged me. I went to look for it. Am I still here? Reconnection successful. There you go. If you go to Owl's Head, stay on the hills. Much better luck. Yeah, guys. If you are not subscribed, by the way, to Indiana Tones, Lou, down in the description, the first link is his channel. So please subscribe to him. He produces awesome content. He has one of the best intros on YouTube. I think it's pretty intense, sort of with the maps and the historical sort of places that he's been to.
Yes, sir. I'm back. Cheers.
So Marty says, "Gotta run, guys." All right, we'll see you, Marty.
All right, Marty. Take care. Be safe.
Jason says he's still waiting on his permit. Jason, a lot of people are. I know Scuba Sonia has filed for a permit and she hasn't gotten it yet. Dennis in the chat as well has sort of put in for his permit. He hasn't gotten it yet.
They might not get it for a while because of COVID and there's no one working in offices right now. So
yeah, people are not going into the office, and so they're not giving out permits. By the way, Lou, how was that in Prospect Park? I know that the last time you guys went out with Jeff and Meryl and Rob and Carlos, you guys had gotten stopped. You want to talk about that for a bit?
Whew. Okay. So, yeah, somebody called the cops. So the day started, every time we go, I would say, I'm not going to say hundreds, I would say over 1,000 dogs off leashes. It seems like they're allowed to be off the leash, which, I have a dog. I love dogs, but some dogs should be on a leash. I mean, they're just reckless. They're digging holes and pooping, peeing everywhere.
Bigger dogs, especially.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's some kind of entitlement problem with the owners, but whatever. The problem is we get blamed for the carnage they do in the field. Me personally, if I'm going to let my dog loose, it's going to be in a dog run where it's fenced off, where they could just go
right,
ham.
A dog park.
Right. Obviously, they don't have a big one there. You get to fit all those dogs. I get it. I'm not going to get into this whole dog thing now.
No, but it's a bit messed up that they're the ones going out, digging holes and making a mess, and then
right. So the permit holders like us and the people who follow the rules do things correctly. There may be some rogue people that do it wrong, but most me and Meryl actually spend time filling up these holes that the dogs have made. And like I said, there could be rogue people that are digging holes and not filling them properly. I don't know, but I know it's not our crew. It's definitely not permit holders that follow the rules.
Right.
And like I say, I try to make examples. There's drunk drivers out there that cause car wrecks. You're not going to ban old drivers off the road because of a
Right.
few rogue, irresponsible people. That being said, we dig a plug, put it back neatly, pound it down. It looks like we were never there. It does not cause any other problems. And not only that, most of the holes I find garbage. I take the garbage out, I either recycle it or throw it out.
Yeah, you're
So
cleaning up
we're
the
doing
park.
public service for free while we're enjoying our hobby in the outdoors.
Hmm.
Somebody called the cops, said, there's people tearing up the lawn. Cop comes. Our new friend Jeff shows that shows exactly what we did. The cops are like, wow, this is great. You're doing a good job. Thank you. And that was that.
Yeah, I think a lot of times if they see that you have a permit, they just leave you alone.
They didn't even check his permit. Well,
They didn't
said,
even check?
"You don't need to
Wow.
pull it out. You don't even need to pull it out. Just tell me what you're doing here." He
Wow.
showed him that we're doing the plug, and they're like, wow, that's great. And you're cleaning up the place? Thank you. And they let us, and there was no problem.
Yeah, I mean it really shouldn't be a problem so long as you're following the rules and not doing what people are accusing you of. I think it's a lot of it is ignorance on people's parts. They see you digging a hole and they say, "Oh, he's leaving holes everywhere," and they don't sort of know our process. Know that we don't dig huge craters. We try to dig a small hole that's enough for us to find our target. And
Then we put the soil back in, and then we put the plug in.
exactly. And so a lot of people just don't know that. And so when they go and they find a police officer or a parks official and they're like, that person's metal detecting. Also, I saw in your video someone had asked you, I think you were going back home, they asked you if that was a Geiger counter. And you were like, it's a metal detector.
I'm like, no, it's a metal detector. He's like, wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
There was a longer conversation, but I cut it out. I don't want to put a stranger on the video that might not know I'm recording. It just happened to be on.
Yeah, it's sort of like you're not out there detecting radiation. People aren't going to get sick, but there's a lot of ignorance sort of as to what we're doing, how our machines work, what our process is. The fact that we do clean up the parks, when we leave a park, we always leave it cleaner than when we got there, and
Right.
it's sort of beneficial.
Right.
Not
Yeah.
only because we leave the parks cleaner, but also because we do find history, we do appreciate the history, and we're
Yeah.
sharing it with people.
Now, Prospect Park, they tested the soil several times, and there's very high levels of lead. So you may want to wear gloves no matter what park you're in New York City.
Yeah.
One, sometimes fill is brought in from somewhere we don't know where it's from.
And I've seen that a lot, especially recently when I went to Van Cortlandt Park. It's a park that Tracy's Treasures loves to dig. Merrill loves to dig there. That
Sure.
that has been filled in heavily, and you just find the strangest trash.
Yeah, and lead is very bad for you. I work in a utility company, and when you touch lead connectors, even when you're done with it, the residue's on your hand,
Mhm.
right? So if you touch your food, you're ingesting it. It's in your body. It goes into your
Wow.
bloodstream. In order for it to the levels to go down, you got to stay away from lead for a while.
Yeah.
So key is to wear gloves and wash as soon as possible. Those wipes don't really take the lead off; it just moves it around.
Yeah, it is a huge problem. The heavy metals sort of tend to bioaccumulate and stay in your system for a while, especially lead is very dangerous to your brain. Another one is mercury. Mercury you get from eating a lot of, fish because it bioaccumulates in the fish. And
Yep.
so that's another dangerous one. But the heavy metals are very poisonous. Gold, too. I don't know if you've ever heard the story about the wife that tried to kill her husband with gold, but yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I'll look at them. What does that say? I haven't been questioned yet, but still new, and only doing low key spots right now. That's cool, Jason.
Oh, cool, Jason. What borough? Wow. Can I speak? What borough are you in? Yeah, we're all just underground animals. We burrow.
Census Borough.
I'm in the Bronx, but I mainly metal detect, Coney Island, Prospect Park. I've been to Rockaway Beach a few times. I've been to Orchard Beach. What are some of like your favorite places to go to, Lou?
Ooh. Brand new places where, like, if somebody goes, look, I have like a couple weeks ago, we have this farm where people found reals.
Hmm.
Ooh. Or somebody in my club, hey, look, we have this house from the 1600s.
That's always exciting.
Like, I would legit feel like a kid waiting for presents the next day. Or I'm not a big gambler, but there was a couple times I went to Lake City, I got excited. Oh, what if we hit $1 million?
Hmm.
You get that feeling, and then you don't get it, but whatever. You get that feeling. I can't stay up. I stay up all night,
Yeah.
so I love that. I just, yeah, I would say first time going somewhere is always the best, and hopefully it's not an anticlimax.
Yeah, I remember Merrill had hit Ferry Point Park. Ferry Point Park is a very huge park. It's about half the size of Central Park. It's here in the Bronx. There's a huge field with like sort of soccer nets or some kind of like athletic field that's been hit pretty heavily by Merrill and other detectives here. But Rob and Carlos had gone to a little patch close uh, to the parking lot, and they were pulling up all types of silvers, and they're telling me about it. And I was like, oh my god, I really want to go. So I
Yeah.
went, and that's when I had found the silver quarter. And it was just interesting because that park, I had gone out with Merrill to that huge field before, but it was like a new place, and my friends were all hyping it up with all the stuff that they'd found. So I was like, I really want to go. And so
Yeah,
that
and
feeling of doing a new area.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean.
Yeah. But hopefully we get some gold this year. I haven't found it yet.
Oh yeah, I am, and most of the gold and silver I found, it's on the beach. So if you're hitting those beaches, you're gonna find it.
Well, I'm getting it this year. I know it.
Yeah,
Jason said Brooklyn, Coney Island. That's where you're from, Jason, or is that your favorite place?
that's I think one of the places that he goes. Or maybe he's in the Coney Island area.
Bryan Beach might be a good spot too. The Russian community over there.
I had hit the one that's just beyond Brighton Beach. Hey Brian, how you doing? By the way, Brian, thank you so much. I had gotten the mail that you sent me, and I just want to say I really appreciate it. The letter that you sent me, so thanks for that.
Brian, how you doing? Great guy.
Yeah, he's awesome. What were we saying right before Brian came in? I lost my train of thought.
Bryan Beach, Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, there's a beach sort of so in the geography of New York City. So you have Coney Island to one end, you have Brighton Beach, then right after that you have Manhattan Beach. And Manhattan Beach is very small. It's a very small beach. I went there last year. I think it was my last hunt of last year. I went with Rob early in the morning.
Okay.
I think that's true. I think that's what that was. And we really didn't find much out there. I think that beach had been hit just because it is so small. But I hadn't been to Brighton Beach. I've never been to Brighton Beach. That might be interesting.
People find rings there. You
Yeah.
can find rings anywhere, but yeah, that community likes the beach and they frequent it, so that might be a nice spot to go one day.
Yeah, definitely. Jason says that he hits the beaches by Coney Island, the Creek area, Mudlarks, Dead Horse Bay, Plum Beach. We know a lot of these places. We've been to a lot of these places,
Nice.
sort of as a group.
The southernmost tip, Tonville, Staten Island. They found Native American skeletons there from God knows how long ago.
Wow.
I'm dying to find an arrowhead there. I know it has nothing to do with metal detecting, but and those beaches got hit so many times. But tides come in and move things, so I'm going to probably go out there this summer too a lot.
Interesting.
Really.
I know that there's a few Instagram pages that focus on detecting and stuff from Staten Island beaches, like almost exclusively.
Yes, New York City beach finds or something like that.
Yeah, and he has some pretty interesting stuff up on his Instagram page, so that's
Yeah.
always exciting. So there's a lot of people that they hunt New York, but they don't really post anything.
Right, and there's also people that don't like people that post videos or whatever. Look, I don't see anything wrong with a known place. If you Google metal detecting New York City, or read the books. It's going to tell you the main parks to go to. Okay.
I mean, the permit, it has it all listed in the permit. We could just list off the
Yeah.
parks.
Yeah, it's in the permit.
There's no
Now,
secret where we go. It's all
right.
there.
So those type of people have to just relax. If somebody takes me on their secret spot and we're in the middle of the woods, you're not going to know where I am. I mean, we are the borough of parks. It's massive, the woods out here. It would
That's
take,
true.
forget it. You can't do it in a lifetime. But that being said, if we're at, a known park and it's on the permit, I don't see the big deal. And
Right.
the ones that are really packed and crowded with people, especially the historical, the really old parks, there's going to be things there forever. Between the new stuff and the old stuff, it's just
there's always
fun.
stuff to find. Always.
Yeah. Yes, New York City Beach Finds on Instagram. Awesome guy. Yep, that's a cool page. I follow that too. Finds a lot of bottles. I like the old bottles, like the what are they called? Blob tops.
Blob tops?
Blob tops. BLOB.
I've never seen.
Yeah, like Hutcherson or something like that. Brand. 1 second. Let me shut this light.
Okay, cool. Yeah, guys, thanks for joining us. I didn't know like how many people would be joining and watching. If you're here, hit that like button. It really helps out the channel. But yeah, so Lou, any plans for this Memorial Day weekend?
I don't know. First, I have to figure out what I'm barbecuing on Memorial Day. But maybe I'll take a vacation day Tuesday to detect. It all depends on the weather.
Yeah, Tuesday would be a really good day just because Memorial Day and Labor Day and 4th of July are sort of like the 3 weekends or the 3 days that the beaches really get hit.
On the weekend?
Sort of, yeah. The Memorial Day weekend, the 4th of July, whenever
Sunday.
that is, and then the Labor Day weekend are sort of like the 3 big beach days here in New York City.
Maybe Sunday's the best day because I have work Tuesday. I don't know.
Are you working the actual holiday?
No, I'm off Monday, but
off
I'm
Monday.
gonna be with the family.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. My stepdad, he loves to barbecue, and we were watching the news, and I said he hasn't gotten his permit either. But I was saying, if I go to Orchard Beach, they have a barbecue area that's close by. Maybe you can go there and do that. And then on the news, they said barbecue areas will be closed.
Oh yeah, it's on somebody asked about that in this food group I'm a part of, and if you go on the park's website, it says they are closed. You can't use them.
Yeah, and
They don't want people to congregate around them.
It's weird because I know when he does barbecue, it's usually him, my mom, me, my sister. That's it, like 4 people,
right.
And
it's so frustrating.
It is frustrating because like there's ways that you can do it correctly,
Yeah.
And I visited, my mom likes to shop in bulk now, so she goes to BJ's and buys like big things of water, and I'm the one that helps her carry it, so like I'm around them, my mom and my stepdad, and so the danger's not there for me, if I was always around these people.
Their blanket was for everybody, and it doesn't,
Right, exactly.
It doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah, but I think little by little things are opening up, and New York might be one of the last ones that open up fully.
Yeah, because of the what's it called? Density.
Yeah, we are one of the hardest hit. We are the hardest hit, and some places they're sort of catching up in numbers, but we're so far ahead. Other places aren't going to hit these numbers for a while.
Yeah. Well, we'll hope for the best. Prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Definitely.
Yep. Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions either for me or for Lou here?
What does it say? What is your oldest port, and is there a beach by it? And have you detected there? Oldest port? I don't know.
I wouldn't know that.
That is a really weird place. We have a boat graveyard here with boats from old wars, wooden boats. So I always wanted to scuba dive there. I don't know. There's a lot of history. I really got to look into that port question.
Yeah, I really don't know a lot about that, about ports.
There's docks, old defunct docks that are, you just see the wood stakes sticking out on all the beaches on Staten Island.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah, you know what? Near one of our bridges, that people find really, really old coins. That I haven't been there yet. I don't want to go by myself.
That might be interesting places. Interesting place to go.
Yeah,
Definitely, definitely, definitely.
I walked down under one of the bridges. I don't know if I was allowed to, and I found old medicine bottles. So who knows what that was back in the
Hmm.
day?
So you had said that you give your clad coins into Coinstar. Is there anything else that you sort of give up for money? Any other metal detecting finds that you've either sold or
No, I
no?
just declared away.
Just the
So
clad.
what I did was, so I don't look like a hoarder. I was looking for your curio cabinet. I finally found one. Somebody was moved and it didn't match their house, so
Hmm.
I benefited. At this beautiful giant curio cabinet from Macy's with a light,
Nice.
gigantic one. I actually had to take it apart to fit it in my basement and reassemble it.
Oh wow,
$50. It had to be well over $300. This thing,
wow.
and I put everything in there. All the forks, spoons, relics, coins, toys, everything in there.
Do you keep bottles as well? I know a lot of times in your
Yeah,
videos you're picking up old bottles.
yeah, really old ones. Actually, I had a yard sale at my house, and I sold a lot of them. I was kind of sad that I sold them, but
Hmm.
that's all good.
I mean, you could always go to Dead Horse Bay and restock.
Yeah, I found like this really old milk bottle that doesn't exist anymore in the
Hmm.
middle of the woods of Staten Island,
Oh
and I
wow,
think it was
cool.
like $3. I was kind of upset, but or $2, but that's okay. Somebody else will enjoy it.
Yeah,
Can't
I
always-
mean, it's fun because after you've enjoyed it for a while, it's sort of moved on,
yeah, it's okay.
and it
Yeah,
has its
you'd be
own
buried with
history.
a milk bottle.
Hmm. I always think, and this might be a bit strange to say, like if objects could speak, what would be their history? What would be their story? Especially the things that we find. When you find a ring, who wore it? Who was that
Right.
person? How long was that thing under the ground? You know.
And I love personal items
Hmm.
because it makes you wonder. It's like reading a book. Use your imagination. What was this? Who had it? When did they drop it? Why did
Exactly.
they have it? It's
And
just
those stories is so hard to figure it out, to know without, it's just so hard to know without any identifying features.
right. Correct. Yep.
Yeah. Um, I'm not seeing. How long have we been on? An hour and 20 minutes. Sweet.
Wow. I have to go live, man. I never go live.
You never go live? You should. It's fun. It's fun.
I used to do it all the time, and then they had that rule: you need 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, but now, I mean, you have the 1,000 subscribers now, but even with OBS now, you don't need 1,000. Like if you're doing it from your laptop.
Right. I think it stopped the momentum.
Oh yeah, I think also there's a way around that for phones now because you could download OBS
Oh
on your
wow.
phone.
If there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, so it's sort of like a workaround for those channels that aren't at 1,000 yet. I haven't gone live hunting on the field. I don't think my phone will handle that too well.
Yeah. Which do you have an iPhone?
I have an Android.
Okay. Yeah. It depends on your internet service and what phone you have.
Yeah, and I'm sort of used to the GoPro sort of hanging out here, and I wouldn't even know how to, hook up the phone.
Right.
So Michael says it was fun. Thanks. Have a great evening. Yeah, you too, Michael. We'll see you on the next one.
All right. Have a good night, Mike.
Definitely, definitely.
Where's Manhattan Beach? Is that in the Bronx?
So Manhattan Beach is sort of if you continue from Coney Island and Brighton and you just continue on, you eventually hit Manhattan Beach.
Why do they call it that?
I don't know. It's not in Manhattan. It's out in
Manhattan
Brooklyn.
College is in the Bronx.
I'm sorry?
Manhattan College is in the Bronx too.
Yeah, it's strange, right? It's
I guess it attracts people there.
yeah, it's sort of the name that they just put it. It's not like
Like Iceland and Greenland.
indicative of the location of the real location.
Right.
By Kingsborough College. Yeah, it's down there.
Okay.
Definitely. There's so many interesting beaches by there. Plum Beach is close by. Bottle Beach. It's sort of that same body of water, sort of heading into Jamaica Bay.
Friday, Saturday, rain. Oh, great.
Oh, mate.
That was bad.
No, I am going tomorrow. I can't.
Man.
Yeah, I definitely have to go out tomorrow because I can't like not detect this weekend. I actually have my intro already set up for my next video.
Where are you going tomorrow?
I'll probably go to Orchard Beach since it's close by. I can't really go too far just because I'm limited by the public transportation.
Yeah, you got to be careful on there too.
hmm So, but I can go to Orchard Beach here in the Bronx. It's close by. There were a lot of people there last weekend. I'm hoping that they drop some stuff. Rob and Carlos had hit it pretty hard over the winter, and they both had told me how clean they left that beach. Like you could walk back and forth and hardly find anything.
Well, we've had storms and
been storms.
we've been there, so
I'm hoping that some of the sand has been moved. Maybe things have washed in. Maybe things, have washed out. I also hope that they haven't fenced up the beach. And what I mean by that, I've been to the beach before where they put a fence on and you can't get out into the sand. So, but I saw people on the sand in the video from last weekend. So that should be like not an issue. Depositors, basically, yeah. So if it's not something new that was dropped recently, hopefully it's something old. On that beach, you could go in the middle of the week in the summer, and it's so packed. It's the only beach here in the Bronx, and I think
the only one. Well, what about City Island? Do they have a beach there?
Yeah, I think, but
is that far?
Yeah, it's a bit far. It is a bit far, and I don't know if that beach you could swim. Or if it's public, it might be a private beach. Hey, Metal Detecting New York City. How you doing? Where were you? He probably went to Metal Detect the entire time we were streaming.
Yeah, the big question is, Metal Detecting NYC, is do you sleep? Somebody asked you that yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Meryl.
You do everything. You're the family man. You're the teacher. You're the YouTuber. The video artist. The producer, the director, you do it all.
He's an information sort of...
Oh, you're like a well-oiled machine.
How does he keep going?
I don't know, dude.
Tacos and ice cream.
If I'm lightning, you're like, I don't know, like plasma or something. Yeah, so Metal Detecting NYC is premiering at 9 p.m. if we're going to end the stream.
Definitely, we're going to end the stream before that, and we're all going to be hanging out in Meryl's premiere after this. He also posted a sort of funny Haagen-Dazs teaser thing earlier today. So if you didn't check that out, you could go check that out. It's not that long. I think it was something like 15 or 16 seconds.
Meryl, did I influence that atomic bomb at the end by any chance?
That was so funny. I was watching his video, and it's sort of like, quarters and, silver coins and Haagen-Dazs and coins and Haagen-Dazs and silver and Haagen-Dazs atomic bomb. I was like, what did that come from?
House of Cards, I think he said, I have always loathed the thought of sleep. It puts even the most powerful men on their back.
Oh, wow.
I thought that was a good line. I was just playing Smash Bros. With the fam.
Oh, yeah, he did say he was going to go away and play Smash Bros. He likes to play as, I think it's Koopa or Bowser. Oh, thanks for the subscription, James.
James L616, subscribed.
Yeah, 6T6. With any luck, I'll be making my next video sometime this weekend. If not tomorrow, if I get home early enough, I'll be putting it all together and doing it for tomorrow. Lou, do you have any idea of when your next YouTube video will be coming out?
Maybe tomorrow. I have some footage. I just have to put it out. And I aspire to be like Metal Detecting NYC, like
video every day.
One of the goals, if you're a tuber, is to have a structured day. Like, try to make things clear, concise. Like, how long a video is going to be. Get it done. Put the parts in that you want and get it out. I'm a procrastinator.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time editing.
Editing, I'm procrastinating.
All the clips. Sort of the way I have my GoPro in that waterproof case, the sound doesn't come out too good. So I have to spend a lot of time getting the audio just right.
Can you take it off when you're not going in the water? Can you just put it on?
I can. It's a bit more flimsy though. I'm always afraid that it's gonna fall. Because it's not encapsulated. The place where I hook it on, it's just sort of a spring hook that grabs onto the camera when it's not in the waterproof case.
And if you watch my last video, the last maybe minute of my video, I switched it from the chest mount to a head mount. And let me tell you, it looks 10 times better. First, you're getting the view from your neck, like when it's moving.
Yeah.
It's so much better. And you see, like, you don't pick up as much on the breathing, and you see more of what you're doing. It's better. But the only negative of that is you can't see where it's pointing.
Yeah. And do you have it always on while you're out detecting, or do you turn it on when you get a signal?
It depends on what mood I'm in. Sometimes I used to leave it on all the time, but then the battery dies.
Yeah, that's sort of the thing. I think it's easier to turn on and off when it's here, sort of, than when it's on your head, because I like to look at the light as an indication, like, okay, the light's on, I'm recording.
Yeah.
And when it's on your head, it's like, I pushed it, but did it go through?
5280 Adventures did a poll of what people think, what do they want to see? And a lot of people don't want to see you bending over and seeing the crotch area. They don't want to see you digging. They want to see the signal, what the target ID is, and then you maybe like a few seconds before the catch.
Yeah.
And it depends on who you are, though. Like, it depends. You can just look at different channels, some popular channels, and what they do, but the target ID, I think, is good unless it's just clad. We know what the clad is.
Right. I sort of like Merrill's way of doing quarter, dime, nickel, penny, dime, quarter.
Yeah.
Like, until you get something good.
Look, it's 30, 32. It may be a quarter. But if you're just getting quarters, you just want to get it out of the way because you have so much more content to share.
Definitely.
You don't
especially if you know what you're going to get. Like, save that time.
Life is like a box of chocolates. You know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get. Don't obsess or overthink it. He wrote, Lou, you're the bomb, but it was just a random thing. Cool? I'm the bomb.
That's so funny. So, Lou, I know that before, I think sometime last year, we had done a live stream, and you had said about the books that you were reading. You had like some history books for your area.
I haven't read them.
You haven't read them?
Yeah. Even I have bins full of relics that need to get electrolyzed. Is that the right term?
They have to go through electrolysis. Yeah.
Right. And I always said, I'm just going to do it one day. And you would think now during COVID, everybody's home, I would do it. But I'm determined to do it within a week. Make a video with all my bins, one by one in a bucket, banging them out. Whatever's scrap, it's going to the scrapyard, and whatever's good will be like, well, I don't really remember where I found this, but bam.
That would be a cool video. I like to see the people who do electrolysis, like the before and after. Those are amazing.
Yeah, I have a lot. I have all these bins separating stuff, so I really want to get this done. It'll get a lot of stuff out of my house too.
Yeah, I think in the group chat, that ring that they had found, sort of with the hearts, the silver ring that they did electrolysis on, it looks so much cooler. In our New York City group chat. But yeah, there's a lot of people that they do electrolysis on various things. I think even Tracy's Treasures, was it her channel that recently had?
Yeah, she did it reverse. She did the instead of the positive, she did the negative on the metal.
And that's not something that you want to do normally.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. So usually when you do electrolysis, you want the dirt and stuff to come off of one and sort of be attracted to the other one, right? The electrons go one way. When you do it the other way, if you have something like nickel on the positive side, that nickel will plate whatever the other object is. So if you have silver, it will become plated with nickel, or sort of that sort of process. Yeah. That's what happens when you reverse them.
So the one you're cleaning should be positive?
The one you're cleaning should be negative.
Okay.
Yeah, the one you're cleaning should be negative because the electrons flow through the negative to the positive.
Is that right, Merrill?
Merrill, if you're still here, opine. Just because I know from people who I
I have a battery charger. I bought it off an auction site,
Mhm.
and I got a big bin. I got a lot of relics, a lot of things found in 1800s, 1700s area.
Do you have the clips?
I haven't made anything yet. I want to get a piece of rebar, zip tie it to the
Mhm.
plastic bin, see what happens.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. You could get a lot of that stuff at Home Depot to
Yeah.
set up your electrolysis setup.
I should have plenty of metal to use. I'm a metal detector.
Electric Mumble. Oh yeah, something to sacrifice. Yeah, definitely. Because we basically use it to clean up things, but the whole process of sort of plating is done exactly the same way. When you plate sort of white gold, they plate it with rubidium. Even people who fix Hot Wheels cars, sometimes those cars have pits in the casting, and then what they do is they plate it with nickel or some sort of other metal, and they'll sand it down to get rid of the pits in the casting.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Why would you tumble when you got Electric Mumble? Yeah, Meryl had done a whole rap about electrolysis. I remember that. It's pretty funny.
I have a tumbler I haven't used either. It's in a box. So
Oh wow.
I found my second large scent, and I was able to read something. I think I cleaned it a little too much, but I'm thinking about tumbling it.
That might be a good idea. What are you thinking about tumbling it with? Are you gonna do like sand or
Well,
rocks or
I have like the rocks that came with, look like the fish rocks that you put on the
Mhm.
bottom of the thing.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of soap.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. That sounds cool. That would be another interesting video. Your first try, your first attempt at tumbling and just showing those results.
Yeah.
Even I know sometimes the wheat pennies come out pretty crusty, especially the ones like finds from Dead Horse Bay. Those always need to be cleaned up. Like if you have anything from there, you might want to throw it in there.
Yeah. Totally gross.
Yeah. It smells so bad over at Dead Horse Bay.
I know. You can't forget that smell either. Ugh.
Yeah, so James says you always want to attach the item you want to clean on the negative.
Okay.
Because, yeah, the electrons
Oh,
flow.
yeah, I thought it was the other way around.
The electrons flow from the negative to the positive. Yeah.
So you want to be negative.
Yeah, you want them basically stuff to go from the thing you're cleaning to the other end.
I'm positive, but you always want to be negative.
Merrill says don't do your large scent yet. Start off with wheat pennies.
Why?
I think if you mess it up, you don't want to mess up the large scent too bad, but wheat pennies are like not that bad. I think that's what he's trying to say until you get like the formula right.
Okay. I know you're not supposed to mix the copper and the nickel and the silver or whatever. I know
Yeah, that's another thing too.
because then it'll like turn red.
Yeah, I think silver shouldn't be really tumbled.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And another video that I keep thinking of Adventures 5280, the guy in Colorado. He did a bunch of different experiments. He put Coca-Cola in his tumbler. He put too much, and it almost exploded.
That's funny. The carbonation.
I didn't
The
think of that.
carbonation. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Oh man.
that was hysterical.
I know people use there've been videos on YouTube of people cleaning off the rust of their car with Diet Coke.
Yeah, I seen a railroad spike cleaned at work with that.
Yeah.
It worked.
Like if you don't have CLR, that's you can use that. Harbor
Mhm.
Freight sells a cheap sand blaster. Oh yeah, sand blasters are really cool.
Yeah, you gotta be careful breathing that crap in.
Yeah, you have to have sort of a mask, and when you're using it, big, heavy gloves, so you don't hurt yourself. But I've seen restoration videos where people restore old axes and rusty, sort of older machines, like bread cutter. There was one guy who was restoring a bread cutter, and he had a sandblaster. It was just getting rid of all the old paint, all of the rust. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's cool.
What that stuff
Harbor
does.
Freight has a lot of cheap stuff. They're not all great, but it is definitely cheaper than anywhere else.
You mean Harbor Freight?
Yeah, like when I was working in the manholes in New York City, and those gratings you walk on the sidewalk, we were cutting giant pieces of copper, and we bought a Sawzall, and thing broke in like a half hour. It's not meant for industrial use.
Wow.
But if you have a house, it's probably not a big deal if you bought that instead of a DeWalt or Milwaukee.
Yeah. It just sounds cool. I've never been to Harbor Freight.
It's all cheap tools. Yeah, I mean cheaper tools, and they have some other stuff. Like they might have a metal detector there actually.
Really?
Like $8.
Is
Yeah,
there one in New York or?
they just a few years ago they opened maybe 5 or 6 years ago they opened one on Forest Avenue in Staten Island. Yep.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd never been. There's a Home Depot, relatively close to where I am. That's the only.
So speaking of Home Depot, down the block from Harbor Freight, there's a Home Depot across the street in the woods. Is an old defunct raceway for go-karts that were they got back in the day. It's all grown over.
Wow.
I think somebody found a coin in there. I heard people been in there, but I don't know if there might be a lot of coins in there.
Metal Detecting New York City, Merrill says, Lou, do you ever find coins or cool objects down in the manholes?
2 vaults I went into, I found money, paper money, and I have found coins near the ones near the bus stations. Yes.
Interesting.
I bet in Manhattan they find a lot more than me. But sometimes there's so much caked up stuff you have to call a vacuum machine. They got to clean it all out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, pretty
Wow.
gross. But yeah, you find some. We found needles in some of them. So we would have like the sharps container. We'd have to pick it up with a thing and put it in there, and then do a report.
That's cool. Yeah. I do you have videos on YouTube of you finding those money in the vaults or?
Well, we're not allowed to video. Well, I don't do that job anymore, but we're never allowed to videotape any structure in the company because of security.
Yeah, definitely. No, yeah, I definitely understand. Merrill, I know that you're about to start your premiere. There's I think 12 people watching now. If you want to put your link in the description, just because the premiere is going to start in 9 minutes, or sorry, put your link down in the chat, and then everybody could sort of congregate there since we're sort of winding down here.
Make sure you smash that thumbs up before you leave, folks.
Yeah. Lou, one more quick question, just in case people are not understanding why you would be down in a manhole. What do you do?
Well, I used to work in the networks for commercial services in New York City, keeping the grid running for electric. But now I'm more of a liaison inspector. Moved up, but great job. It's fulfilling job keeping the power running. Without electric, we're cavemen. Trust me. Literally runs everything. It runs gas turbines, water, everything. Everything
so
you can
important.
think of. When there's a blackout and there's no power, we're back in the Stone Age. We really are. So I think it's the most essential thing, electric, right now, especially in a big city like New York City.
Definitely. I mean, I don't think
The gas pumps don't even work without them.
yeah, the city won't be able to function. I think I remember once during the hurricane, what was it, Katrina, when Lower Manhattan was completely, blackout.
Sandy.
Oh, Hurricane Sandy, right. And the train stations were just full of water. It sort of halted everything. I worked on 14th Street at that time, and I just, couldn't work or anything, and it was insane.
Yeah, that was crazy times.
It was insane. Definitely.
Yeah, so there's the link for Merrill. He's going to premiere at 9 o'clock, guys.
I am copying that link, so at the end of this, I could just go there. Thanks, Merrill. So yeah, that's interesting. And again, his channel is Metal Detecting NYC. Merrill, thanks for posting this stream. Metal Detecting Brooklyn, we are finishing up today. We are finishing up for today, but I will have other streams. If you're not subscribed, if you're watching and you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. I do stream very often. I do Metal Detect in New York, and I also have some other strange hobbies. I do a lot of reading, and I talk about the books I read. I play video games. I do all sorts of coin stuff, Hot Wheels stuff as well. So.
And here is my channel.
Yeah, Lou, definitely put your channel down. It's down in the description of the video, but you can put it down in the chat as well. There you go. I see it.
If anybody wants to come out with us, just contact us. Just write a comment.
Definitely. If anybody wants to come out with us, New York City Metal Detectorists, it's me, Lou, Merrill of Metal Detecting New York City. There's Dennis and Marilyn of Detectaholics New York. There's Rob Crespo and Carlos. that's sort of the crew that often goes out to detect together. I know in Jackpot, sometimes when we go to Prospect Park, Jackpot G. Large joins us. I know Merrill has been detecting with this guy named Jeff recently. Of I think he's Long Island metal detectorist or something like that.
Yeah, he wanted to become the Tone Ranger. He said somebody took that already though.
Tone Ranger. Oh, that's cool. It's kind of sounds like Park Ranger.
No, like instead of the Lone Ranger.
Oh, instead of Lone Ranger. Oh, I would have. That's not the first thought that came to my head. Probably should have been. That's
Yeah,
pretty
it
funny.
didn't click with me either at first.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And Keith, yeah, but Keith has moved
Keith
away.
He abandoned us.
He left. Start flipping stuff. Keith, why are you left?
Why, Keith?
Why?
Finally got another guy and he's gone.
Yeah. Keith used to come out with us a lot. But yeah, he's now gone and not in New York City anymore. But yeah, there's a lot of other detectors. People, for this year, I want to sort of meet other people as well. I want to meet Tracy from Tracy's Treasures.
I met her. She's a nice lady.
Yeah. Oh, you have. Cool. Yeah, definitely.
I met her the first day she met Meryl, and she's like, "Oh my god, I saw your videos. I got this machine. It was a good time." Met
Yeah.
her.
She had gotten it just that past Christmas, and the amount of silver she's been able to pull up.
Pulled more than me, dude.
Yeah, in that time, I'm like, what the heck?
It's about location,
amazing.
like Beth and Meryl say. It's all about the location.
Yeah, definitely. And she's definitely been digging up. We got James now, too. James is another one I wouldn't mind metal detecting with. So we have to set something up. But yeah, with that said, we're about 4 minutes away from Meryl's premiere.
I do want to do, anytime we go somewhere, I want to make like a battle line of people and go straight instead of us sporadically going crazy.
Yeah.
Please
Sort
do
of
that. I
grid
always
in
wanted to
straight
do that.
lines.
Like Braveheart.
Yeah, that won't attract attention at all. It'll be so funny if there's just like an army of metal detectors just proceeding like a front of metal
That's what I wanna
detectors
do.
proceeding
That's
forth.
what I want to do. That's what I want to do.
Carlos just pulled silver? No. Where'd he pull silver from? Where was he detecting?
Where, on eBay?
I think from the ground. I think
I'm
Carlos
really
pulled
kidding.
silver out of a location. Carlos is awesome. Carlos is another detectorist. And guys,
Very
I want to do
awesome.
more of these live stream interview types. So if you sort of leave a comment down below, or just contact me, or if you want to be on the detecting zone
You walk the dog, Jess?
as well. But yeah, I've never seen I haven't seen Carlos Silver, so I have to check that out too before the live stream. And I have to get out of this because it is hot in this apartment.
You're about to open the windows.
Yeah, I'm about to put I have an AC that you could put on fan mode and just get that fresh air from outside to come in. That's what I have to do because it is hot. Check the chat. Yeah, I'm gonna check the chat after
Yeah,
this.
we're going to have to get off in T-minus 2 minutes.
2 minutes. So we got 2 minutes left. If there's any last minute things anybody wants to
Say
ask.
something funny.
What happened?
Say something funny, folks.
Say something funny. There's a snake in my boot. This town's not big enough for the both of us. I had one of the horse from Toy Story. I had found it sort of swimming in the beach one day when I was metal detecting. I had picked it up. It's so funny. Lou, this might be an interesting question, but there's sort of a belief, and I don't know if you hold this, but I sort of remember this sort of growing up. It was instilled in me. And then if you've seen Toy Story 3, they have a scene where a truck is driving, and they have all these toys attached to sort of the front grille of the truck. And the belief is that if you find something that a child has played with or spent time or cared for or loved, then that sort of object is imbued with that power of the kids. So whenever I find toys, I try to keep like little toy trinkets, Hot Wheels cars, or metal toys like G.I. Joes or whatever. If I found one, I would keep it. Do you do something similar, or have any like supernatural beliefs in sort of the things that you find metal detecting?
No, I didn't even thought of that, but I keep everything. So hopefully it
You
does.
keep everything. Yeah. Yeah, it's sort of and a lot of people like sort of hold the belief that if you find like a lost toy, you sort of keep it and it brings you sort of that good luck because it was imbued with that the sort of like the purity and the innocence and the love of a child was
I hope
put
so.
into it. So, yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. What's the weirdest thing you ever found ever? Lou, go ahead.
An ancient condom wrapper.
Oh,
It was metal. I was like, "Ooh, what's this gold
it's an
star
old
thing?"
shag.
Condom wrapper. Yeah, that's great. And I was
The
touching.
weirdest thing I ever found, I wouldn't even know how to. I found bullets before I thought were weird bullets on the beach. Like, why
Yeah.
would anybody be shooting guns on the beach, especially with all the gangs in New York? When I found a bullet on Coney Island, I thought that was really weird.
There's Meryl's channel, guys.
Oh yeah, it's 9 o'clock, guys. I'm gonna post that link to Meryl's channel in the chat, and please, everybody meet there. Meryl's starting his premiere. The video is actually gonna start exactly at 9:02 because there's a 2-minute buffer. We're gonna end the stream. Thanks for joining, Lou.
See you later, guys. Good night. Keep swinging. Stay safe.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. And if you haven't subscribed,